All right, everybody, so this is what we're making today. We've got some direct seared pork steaks from a pork butt, a melange of country rustic vegetables of potatoes, carrots, and Brussels sprouts. If you think that this is something you'd like to go ahead and check out, please go ahead and stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kitchen Science. Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and cook all outside today. So I figured you guys might want to go ahead and check out to see what we're working on. And here we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to smoke some pork steaks today. I had to reset up the eggs so that we can go ahead and get as close to the Texas Hill Country method as we could. So let me bring you in closer and let me show you exactly what we're doing. So let's get our ingredients off of here. I'm still so impressed that this was able to close with this in there. You have no idea. Okay, so you'll notice that the egg lip is sitting a little bit higher than it normally would. The reason that this is occurring is because we want to try to get the grate as far away from the coals as we can. And that's because we're not going to be doing a traditional smoking method today. We want to go ahead and try to cook over the coals. We don't want any deflector plate involved. And the reason that we're doing that is there is a lot of fat going on in this pork steak that we have here. And as this fat starts to drip out and as the rest of it starts to go ahead and render, we want all that fat to hit the hot coals. We want it to go ahead and explode on the hot coals, and we want that fatty acid profile to burn and then get all of those fun little smoky flavors to go ahead and come up and bathe the meat. And that's kind of the goal of this Texas Hill Country method for making pork steaks, is they didn't use deflector plates, they didn't use your standard stick burner smokers, they definitely didn't go ahead and use things like Big Green Eggs. But what they did use is they used a lot of open fire and whatever kind of container they could find to get the pork anywhere from like 16 to 18 inches off the coals. So I measured this and I was able to get this about 13 inches off the coals. And the way that I was able to do that, if I take this off and you look down in here, you'll see that I have an additional fire ring sitting in here. Now, the reason that I do is this is my old fire ring. If you remember a few videos back, this cracked and you can see the cracks are here and here. So I saved it, and I finally found a use for it today. Now, I could go to Big Green Egg, and I could go spend almost $300, and they get one of their expander kits, which is almost about the same width as this, or I could find a different method to go ahead and lift this up. So there definitely are other ways. We could build something into the side above the pre-existing, or the currently existing fire ring, but I had this as an option. It goes ahead and it closes, which is great. So this is what I wanted to go ahead and use. You'll also notice that if we look down a little closer, I do not have a lot of charcoal in here. Anyway, this is pretty shallow. It's probably maybe 2 inches thick worth of charcoal, and it is pre-used. It could be brand new, that would be fine. But honestly, the fact that it is pre-used is going to be okay. We're still going to go ahead and get a lot of the heat out of here. We're going to get a lot of the red coals out of here that we want. But let's go ahead and let's set our meat up and let's get it ready to cook. All right, so I have one pork steak and I have a bunch of other pork bits. My initial thought was to go ahead and bring out a pork butt, cut it up for you, and actually show you how that works. Unfortunately, my bandsaw is not working all that well, so I just decided to go ahead and debone the thing. So I ended up getting one decent-sized pork steak out of there, and the rest showed up either in smaller steaks or in some of these little bits right here. But, you know, the same purpose is going to go ahead and happen. We're still going to go ahead and cook this down. We're still going to render the fat. We're still going to get all that wonderful off the coals flavor that we're looking for. But, you know, then we're not going to have those giant pieces. And because we are cooking directly over the coals and we have no deflector plate, I don't want to get too crazy with a lot of different powdery spices. So we're basically going to stick with salt and black pepper. So we have our shaker. We're going to go ahead and pop these guys in. And that's pretty much that. A good amount of seasoning on all sides of this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the other pieces set up, and we're going to go ahead and grab this, and we're going to get this going. All right, now, so for our pork pieces, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use a little bit of Cholula hot sauce. The really nice thing about this is we're going to have individual pieces, so the surface area of this is going to be a lot hotter. But we're still going to only add salt and pepper to it after we add the Cholula, so we're going to get this on. Not only is this going to give a little bit of flavor, but it's also going to go ahead and give a great binder. Cooking outside over open flame, I tell you, there's nothing like it. All right, now both types of pork are set and ready to go. All right, everyone, so our coals are good to go, and let's shut the egg. Let's adjust the dampers, and let's go ahead and let this guy come to temp. We're shooting for about 300 to 350. All right, everybody, we are at temp. So let's go ahead and let's get our pork steaks on. We're going to start with around the perimeter first and then go in. Remember, the smaller pieces have our Cholula binder on them. All right, we're going to come back in about a half an hour and we'll check these out. All right, everybody, so we're at temp. So one more thing we're going to do, and following with the method that we did last week with adding some more smoke, we're going to pop a chunk of wood in here. We're going to let the embers catch it on fire. And there we go. There's the logs smoldering and smoking. All right, everybody, sorry about the noise. My neighbor's cutting his grass, and I hear sprinklers are on. But we're still sitting around that 350-degree mark. It's been a half an hour. And there we go. Look at those guys. Don't they look amazing? All right, so let's start with the pork steak. Yeah, I'd say that that's going quite well. Looking forward to it getting a little bit darker. Let's check on one of our Cholula covered pieces. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. All right, so let's flip all these guys over. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that little guy. He looks fantastic. I'm gonna move him back here. I'm gonna put him right here. Just because he's getting a little dark back there. We'll do that with these guys too. So let's go ahead and let's give these guys another half hour, then we'll go check on them. We're looking for a temperature to get around 200 degrees.
All right, it's been another 45 minutes, so let's go ahead and check on these. We're still holding at about 350. Oh yeah, look at that. Those look great. Looks amazing. Yes, yes, yes. I think this guy's probably definitely done. These are looking fantastic. All right, let's get these guys off in here. All right, we're gonna let them rest like this for about a half an hour, and then we'll crack them open and we'll try them out. All right, everybody, so while the pork steak rests, we wanna go ahead and we wanna make a fun little rustic vegetable. So I've got some Brussels sprouts, some carrots, and some baby Yukon Gold potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and quarter the Brussels sprouts. We're going to do an oblique cut on the carrots, and we're then gonna go ahead and do a fun little long quarter cut on the potatoes. So let me show you how that looks. All right, so we're gonna take a tornado knife and we're going to cut about a 1/4 inch of the bottom off until we get these extra leaves to go ahead and pop off. We're then gonna take our knife, we're gonna cut it down here in half, and then we're gonna go through the root and cut it down in half again. And these are what our pieces are gonna look like that we're gonna end up cooking off in our rustic vegetable. For the potatoes, we wanna do the exact same thing, except for we wanna quarter them lengthwise, so we're gonna cut like so that they look like that. Turn 90 degrees, cut like so, and then they look like this. All right, now for the carrot, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, so I'm gonna peel it and then I'm gonna bring you guys in and I'm gonna show you what it's gonna look like. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called an oblique cut, and an oblique cut is known as a roll cut. So I'm gonna show you from 2 different angles how this looks. To take my carrot, I'm gonna put it at a 45-degree angle on my board, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take my knife, and I'm gonna put it at a 90-degree angle on my board, and I am gonna cut a 45-degree angle. I'm then gonna take the carrot and I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees, and then I'm gonna make the cut again. And then I'm gonna turn the carrot 90 degrees and make the cut again, and just keep doing this over and over and over. And when you get done, you have these funky, fun little shapes in here. And you want to go through them and make sure that they're all about the same size. So these guys are a little bit different from one another. So I'm going to take this one. I'm just going to cut it in half at the same weird angle. That way they're more closer to the same size now. All right, everyone, and this is what our carrots and our Brussels sprouts and our potatoes look like. Let's go ahead and get a pan ready because we're going to go ahead and sear these guys off.
All right, everyone, so we've got a pan nice and warm. I've had it on high for about 2 minutes. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw in some butter. All right, let's put our vegetables in. We wanna give them a good coat in the butter. We're gonna hit them with some good French sea salt. We then wanna hit them with some Calacherry black peppercorn. Now we're gonna go ahead and let this sit for 2 to 3 minutes each side. All right, so it's been a few minutes. Now we can start to see some of those fun colors that we're looking for in here. This is what we want our hash to look like. So I'll get back to you as soon as all the pieces are done and look like that. All right, everybody, so this is about done. Probably needs maybe 2 more minutes, but this is pretty much what our hash looks like. Lots of golden brown everywhere. The potatoes are nice and fork tender. The carrots are nice and fork tender. If you wanted to, you could throw a little bit of garlic in here, a little bit of soy sauce, maybe, even a little more cumin. But, this is kind of how I like it. I like it nice and rustic. I like all the natural sugars that come out of the vegetables. So this is how we're going to have it tonight. It's going to pair perfect with our pork steaks. All right, everybody, so here's our pork steak. So this is the large one, and then we've got some of the little bits right here. You notice that they're a little dry, but they took on that Cholula flavor so well. They definitely hit about 115, 117 degrees inside of there, and while that's not ideal, it tastes fantastic, so I'm not going to complain about it at all. But let's go ahead and let's get into the big guy here. So the goal here is to have a nice, juicy piece, and as you can see, we got plenty of juice going on in there. It probably did get a little bit too warm, but there's still plenty of fat that's dripping out of this guy. You can see how tender it still is, right? And we got a great crust on the outside of here. So this is exactly what we wanted to go ahead and do. So can I cut it? I can cut it. I got a nice piece in here. You'll see it's nice and moist, but it definitely wants to go ahead and shred a little bit. We definitely hit that 200 plus degree temp that you need to, so that you can go ahead and hit pork like that. But I want to go ahead and try it. I want to see how it is. So this was a nice, beautiful looking piece. Let's see how it went. Okay, that is super barky. That is super juicy. It's got tons of flavor just from the salt and pepper and the smoke and all of that dry heat that shot up from all of those coals and all of that fat that dripped all over the place and then burned on the coals and then perfumed up. So this is a great piece of meat. Let's see if my Earl likes it. Here, try that out. Is that good? You like that? She's having a hard time saying anything because her mouth is full.
And juicy and fat. I like that.
That's awesome, kid. I'm glad you like it. Let's go ahead and let's try out some of the other ones. So this was the ones that had the hot sauce on them with the salt and pepper, the Cholula, if you remember. And while they did go ahead and dry out a bit, let's go ahead and try that and see how they are. Oh, yeah. Hot sauce is definitely the way to go. This tastes amazing, the first pork steak, but I think next time I'm definitely going to use the Cholula to put on there. The pepper flavor that's coming through and the sourness you're getting off of the hot sauce is just amazing. But last but not least, we've got one more thing we need to look at here. All right, and here we go. So this is how the meal is going to look. We've got our rustic vegetables, the potatoes, carrots, and Brussels sprouts. And then we've got our wonderful little direct seared pork steaks that are just going to come out and be amazing. Look at that. They're still nice and juicy. They're still nice and moist. So anyways, guys, if you like this kind of content, please go ahead and smash that like button down below. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe you want to see something different going on in the future, please go ahead and drop a comment down below as well. And if you're not subscribed and you like this kind of content, you keep coming back and you keep watching, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It lets YouTube know that you really like what you're watching and that you definitely want to go ahead and see more of it. And if you've got any other things that you're thinking you might want to watch on the channel, I'm going to go ahead and put them up right here towards the end of this, and you can go ahead and check those out, and you can tell me what you think of that too. And as always, have a fantastic barbecue week. All right, everyone, this is the pork steak from yesterday. I went ahead and popped it in my fridge. I pulled it out for a snack today, and I got to be honest with you, I think I like the cold crunchiness out of this much better than the hot stuff.